ranking new movies released in August from worst to best. Now for each month when I do these what I watched videos, I'm finding out that there's always something that went wrong. Usually what goes wrong is I cherry pick like a dumbass and only choose to watch the best movies that came out that month. But for the month of August, it's actually two big issues with my rankings. First off, yes again, I did cherry pick like a dumbass and only watched 5 movies that came out this month. And second, 2 of those movies I somehow watched on July 31st. So even though I watched them in July, both releasing on July 31st is diabolical, so I say they overlap to August. But honestly, who cares? This intro has gone on for way too long, so let's begin. Now, easily in the last spot for today, we got War of the Worlds 2025. Ice Cube's dog shit masterpiece. You know it's bad when this shit literally had a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes for a good amount of time. Now, everyone and everyone's mom was saying this was a dog shit movie, but why is it a dog shit movie? Well, let me explain. First off, yes, like you were hearing, the acting was atrocious. The entire movie was literally just Ice Cube reading off a script. Like, just look at Bro's reaction when he thought his son just perished.
I got a brand new saxophone.
Second, for an Amazon movie which had an infinite amount of money, the graphics were a complete disgrace. That shot of him putting in the flash drive during the climax looked like I could have edited that shit better on CapCut. And finally, the biggest reason this shit was baloney is because it was just one long Amazon ad. The climax literally relied on Roderick flying an Amazon drone to Ice Cube so he could use a flash drive he ordered on Amazon's website 10 minutes prior. Overall, I do think people are underplaying how wonderful this was as a fun bad movie. Like, I have seen way worse movies that were literally just boring bad. So deep down, I can appreciate this film, so even though people are giving this a 0.5 out of 5, which is understandable, it was such a fun, terrible time that it's gotta be a 1.5 out of 5.
Next.
I don't know if it was just me realizing that the first Nobody came out when I was in freaking high school, but everything in this shit came off so corny, bro. The problem I have with both of the Nobodies is that they're literally just John Wick movies that nothing stands out or is jaw-dropping. This also had so many action movie cliches in it, like all the bad guys were literally just GTA NPC test dummies walking into every single booby trap in the climax. There's a shit ton of corny James Bond line deliveries after the main characters kill a henchman, but it is truly nothing compared to the old Kingpin lady. She was truly the corniest of them all. I could not, for the love of God, take her seriously.
She was literally just like a 55-year-old super stiff skeleton of Miley Cyrus.
And she is the type of villain who whistles when she walks into a room just to attempt an aura farm. And again, I'm not making this shit up. She literally did that in the movie multiple times. And finally, the original Rick Sanchez himself, Christopher Lloyd, had deadass 2 seconds of screen time in that shit. Overall, this is the definition of a mid movie, so it's gotta be a 2.5 out of 5.
Next.
Next we got Together, and let me tell ya, the difference between the last movie to this movie is a total different ballpark. Together was advertised as the body horror movie of the summer, and overall it just got most of the job done. We got the infamous bathroom scene where Dave Franco's Johnson almost got ripped in half, the arm cutting scene that was shown in the trailer, and of course the final shapeshift form of Alison, Brie, and Dave Franco turning into Elliot Page. But like a lot of movies coming out lately, this one had way too many funny moments in it that lowered the stakes. The movie's themes also were way too obvious, which created a ton of cringy scenes. So as a body horror movie, it was just alright and barely got the job done. So even though it's a low 3.5 out of 5, I think it's very important to add that Alison Brie is literally a Kristen Wiig doppelganger, and it will never not be stuck in my head that they were literally just clones of each other. Next we got The Naked Gun 2025. I do appreciate this movie, and I'm happy that it does the Naked Gun franchise justice, but I do think it's gotten a tad overglazed. Even the notorious Charlie Penguin 02 were loving this shit. And although I had the misfortune of being in a theater with literally no one except myself in it, I think this as a comedy movie had just too many jokes. It truly focused too much on quantity over quality. And as a movie with almost as many airball jokes as creative ones, I just don't think it deserves that much praise. Especially with how many people hated on Happy Gilmore 2, and then went straight into loving this one. Like, make up your mind. You can't hate on Happy Gilmore 2 and then love The Naked Gun. So even though that doesn't make any sense to me, this is still a solid comedy with a 3.5 out of 5 rating. Alright, stop! The reason I didn't really watch this many movies this month is because I was forced into 2 super long, boring road trips that totally destroyed my movie watching momentum, which means I had to inhale multiple stupid Netflix stand-up specials and documentaries. And since they all dropped somehow in the big 2025, it's only the ChazClipz way to speed rank them before the #1 spots in, let's say, a max of 1 minute 30 seconds. Up first, we got this one, which was pretty much just Netflix seeing the potential of the Tom Brady roast and decided to reverse all the fun factors in it and create a full-on glaze fest towards the great Conan O'Brien. Conan definitely deserves all the glaze, but for a comedy special, this shit was pure baloney. Literally no comedian in it was actually a comedian except Adam Sandler. I absolutely hate when comedy specials start mid-act and I have no clue what the hell is going on. And this one did that for me and it really pissed me off. This is an Ari special, so obviously bro covers a ton of controversial topics, which are for the most part pretty funny, but he misses so much with the smaller jokes. And I think it's essential if you're gonna go over those insane topics to be absolutely hysterical the whole time, and he definitely did not hit that bar for me. I can tell overall they were trying to ramp this episode up a bit for Netflix, but they were so unlucky. Some of the bucket pulls in this shit were so unmemorable, it was not even funny. And there were just too many comedians on stage cock blocking each other from having funny moments. So even though this was a complete letdown for the first Kill Tony episode on Netflix, even the most mid Kill Tony episodes are still enjoyable, so this has got to be a low 3.5 out of 5. Life lesson: do not watch this shit while driving, because I was trying to watch each magic trick and I almost flew off the side of the road 20 times trying to see how bro was doing everything. But overall, this was just a fun, family-friendly magic show that if I would have gone in person to watch it, I would have had an insane time with it. And although some of the tricks felt kind of easy to figure out, where I could have easily just looked them up online afterwards if I wanted to, this was still a very solid high 3.5 out of 5 for a comedy special. Now, before the #1 spot, if you like movies and have somehow gotten to this point in the video so far, please leave a like and follow me on Letterboxd. Also, leave a comment on this video of your favorite movie of August 2025. Now, that being said, easily in today's #1 spot, my favorite movie in August was easily Weapons. I absolutely loved Weapons, and I thought it was going to be the easiest movie the whole entire world could collectively agree is one of the best movies of the big 2025. But still, Weapons somehow became controversial and people found ways to complain about it. Some of the biggest complaints I heard was that the comedy outweighed the horror. The opening scene had a bad song choice. Shout out the Escape podcast, who said that it ruined the entire moment that could have been scary. And I even heard people complain about how it was told in that multiple point of view storytelling format. And damn it, most of those complaints is why I like the movie. Like, how did you not like the movie told through different vantage points? I thought that was one of the coolest parts of the movie. I loved how each story would end in a cliffhanger and someone else's story would overlap with another character's story. I was truly dying to know how the hell each cliffhanger was gonna happen. Then, okay, I kind of agree with the Escape podcast complaints, but that's such a minimal complaint, and I thought the movie got scarier with time anyway. The opening scene definitely could have been scarier, but obviously the movie wasn't even trying to be scary, so it evens it out. And finally, everyone's biggest complaint, that the comedy outweighs the horror. I didn't think that happened at all. I think it perfected the balance of comedy without outweighing the tension. Like, did you not watch the movie and see the scene where Alex's mom came out of her house with that damn knife and the weird walking scary body language? That was probably one of the scariest scenes I've watched in a horror movie in a very long time. And overall, I can't believe we are actually comparing this to Longlegs and the overhype that movie had. Because this shit is truly peak. Not Longlegs, this is at least a 4.5 out of 5 for me. And finally, I gotta shout out how Justin Long finally survived a horror movie. End of discussion.